In today's video, we are going through the top 5 submachine guns you can be using in Warzone at this moment in time. These are the guns that fit into the close range meta category. So starting off in the 5th position, we have the Type 100. This Type 100 build is going to be the rapid fire build, so recoil boosters going in the muzzle slot. In the barrel slot, of course, we're going for the 134mm rapid barrel. This is going to give you that fire rate and extra damage range. Now, just like any build, the optic slot comes down to personal preference. The slate reflector is going to be pretty much the best overall optic to be using on any of these Vanguard guns. In the stock position, we're going to go for the folding. This is going to help us with initial firing recoil, and it is going to help us just move a little bit quicker when we're using the gun. Now the underbarrel slot, again, this is like the optic, it comes down to personal preference. The meta top TTK build is going to involve the SG98 compact. Again, it's going to help you with that movement speed, and it is going to reduce your scope sway and gun bob. Sometimes going on YouTube, finding a pro, seeing what they're using doesn't really help you a whole lot, because they might be playing on PC, you might be playing on Xbox or PlayStation, your visible recoil might be different, so you've got to build these guns out for what you like to play with, not what someone who is a 4-year Call of Duty veteran pro likes. They might build these guns out slightly differently, so I try and make these classes for the majority of Warzone players. You know, putting on a full TTK fastest build sometimes might not work for 80% of all the players, so this is why you have to build these guns out for your personal preference. I think in theory the SG98 works, but it's not going to work for the majority of the players, so that's why I've suggested going for the Strife Angled. This is going to help you with horizontal recoil control. Of course, you could go for the Carver to help you with vertical and hipfire accuracy, or you could go with the hand stop, which is going to help you with a bit of both. Try the Strife Angled first, then go for the Carver, then go for the hand stop. See which one you prefer. I think the Strife Angled comes out on top for me personally, and I think it will for a large majority of players. Now in the magazine slot, this is where the Type 100 comes into its own. The magazine to use if you want to completely delete people is going to be the 36th Russian short. Now this is going to give you that fastest time to kill. It's absolutely perfect in solos, but if you are running in duos, trios and quads, the 36 round does start to become a disadvantage. So the 48 round drum is going to be better, I think, overall. It makes this gun a little bit more usable. If you are looking for the fastest TTK, however, the 36 round is going to be the option, so we'll stick with that for now. But if you are struggling with the ammo, if you think this gun's a little bit too wild, go for the 48, and it does mellow it down quite a lot. Now in the ammunition slot, personally, it's only ever subsonic for me. Now in the rear grip, this is going to again come down to personal preference. My personal preference kind of sits with the hatch grip just to mellow this gun out a little bit, but you can also run the taped grip, the leather grip, if you want some more speed. In the perk 1 slot, the two options really come down to sleight of hand and acrobatic. If you're using the 36 round mag, go for the acrobatic. That's just going to help you with your movement speed. If you're using the 48, I would probably go for sleight of hand. Now in the perk 2 slot, there's only really two options for myself. It's either quick or fully loaded. If you find you're pretty good at ammo management, you're finding you're picking up a lot of ammo off the floor, go for quick. That's going to help you with sprint speed. Now in the 4th position, it was a battle between the Sten or the MP40, and when you try to ignore time to kills and you take into account the general usability of a gun, the MP40 completely smashes the Sten out of the park. The Sten might kill faster, but the MP40 is a whole lot easier to use, mainly because the Sten is a bit like the Bren was. It takes up a lot of the screen when you're trying to use it because of the magazine on the side of the gun. So this is why the MP40 has kicked the Sten out of 4th place, and we're going to run this. I'll run through this very quickly because you've probably seen the MP40 build, the meta build, about 4 million times. So in the muzzle slot, we're going for the recoil booster. The barrel is going to be the short VDD. The optic is going to be the slate reflector for the majority of players. The stock is going to be the folding stock to help you with that movement speed. Now again, in the underbarrel slot, it comes down to personal preference. The Mark 6 is going to be for the meta build. If you want to put on something else to help with the recoil control, you can go for the Strife Angled, you can go for the Carver, or you can go for the hand stop. Now in the magazine slot, it is going to be the 45 Gorenko mags, fire rate, recoil control, movement speed, all of that good stuff. In the ammunition slot, personally, it's going to be subsonic. I can't see myself using anything else just because of how important the no minimap ping is. The rear grip, again, down to your personal playstyle. The taped grip is going to be meta on the MP40, but again, if you want something that's going to help out with recoil control, go for the hatched grip. You could try out the grooved grip for the horizontal, but the taped is going to be meta. Now in the perk 1 slot on the MP40, there's not a lot of options. Momentum is going to be the best one, and then again, you can either run quick or fully loaded, depending on how you're finding yourself in the middle of the game. If you haven't got any ammo, go for fully loaded. If your ammo management is completely fine, go for quick. Now next up we have the H4 Blixen. It's going to be the recoil booster in the muzzle slot, of course. Now the barrel is going to be the Bergstrom 17-inch. This is going to help you with recoil control and bullet velocity. You could also run the Carlson 17-inch if you wanted a little bit more speed, but the Bergstrom does come out on top. Again, in the optic, personal preference, but the slate reflector is going to be the best overall optic. In the stock, we're going to go for the Bergstrom MB. This is going to help you with the hip fire accuracy, aim down sight speed, and movement speed. Now in the underbarrel slot, again, the compact is going to come down as the best underbarrel to be using. If you are struggling with your recoil, please do not just give up on this gun. Try running the strife angled or something along those lines. Now the magazine, this is of course going to be the 54 round Gorenko, recoil control, headshot damage, aim down sight speed, and magazine ammo capacity. In the ammunition slot, again, subsonic. The no minimap ping is so good. If you're using something else, if you're using a Carver underbarrel or the handstop underbarrel, you can try running something that might make this gun a little bit quicker, like the leather grip. But I think compact and hatch grip is a very good combination. Now in the perk 1 slot, again, we don't really have many options here. Fleet is going to be pretty good for your movement speed. The last two kind of don't really do anything unless you're in a certain situation, which I can imagine the majority of the times you won't be. So I think Perfectionist is going to be the perk to go for on the perk 1 slot on the Blixen. And again, the perk 2 comes down to two options: quick or fully loaded. Fully loaded if you're struggling with ammo management, quick if you find yourself with plenty of ammo. Now first place was kind of a battle between the Armaguerra 43 and the Marco 5. I think for me at this moment in time, the Marco 5 still just about beats the Armaguerra 43, so that is why the Armaguerra is coming in second place. So in the muzzle slot, again, of course, it's the recoil booster. The barrel is going to be Immorata 180 short barrel. The optic, again, personal preference, but the slate reflector. In the stock position is going to be the skeletal. The underbarrel, again, personal preference. The meta build is going to be with the SG98 compact. If you're struggling with the recoil, you can chuck on something else. In the magazine slot, we're going for the largest one, the 72 round magazine. Bullet velocity, damage, bullet penetration, and of course you've got the 72 round mags. That's going to be the best option there. Subsonic in the ammunition slot just because of how good it is. Now in the rear grip, you could go for the grooved. It's going to give you horizontal recoil control and ADS. If you're struggling with the recoil, you could chuck on the hatched grip. We'll probably put that in just for the majority of the players. Again, like we said previously, the hatched grip with the compact underbarrel is going to be a pretty lethal combination. In the perk 1 slot, again, we don't have loads to choose from. The hardscope is probably going to be the best option here to help you with some recoil control. And then finally, again, it's either between quick or fully loaded. Quick is going to be best for the meta build. And then, of course, that brings us round to our final gun, number 1 on this list, and it is still reigning supreme in Warzone, the Marco 5. Just like clockwork, recoil booster in the muzzle slot. In the barrel slot, we're going to go for the Perfetto Lesto. This is going to be the barrel to use if you're getting up and close personal with your enemies. The optic, again, is going to be personal preference. Slate reflector on there is going to be the best. In the stock, we're going to go for the FR Immorata. This is going to help you with initial firing recoil control and give you some recoil recovery as well. In the underbarrel slot, again, personal preference. Compact is going to be decent. Skeletal is going to be the meta for this one. It's going to help you with the ADS and movement speed. Again, if you're struggling with the recoil, chuck on the Carver, chuck on the strife angled, chuck on the handstop. Give them 3 a try. Probably chuck on the strife angled initially to see how it goes. Skeletal is going to be the meta. The 64 round drum magazine is going to be the best on the Marco 5. Hip fire accuracy, recoil control, and of course you get the extra bullets. Ammunition, no brainer, subsonic. We're not even going to consider anything else. On the rear grip, it's probably going to be best to use the taped grip. This is going to give you movement speed and sprint to fire speed as well as a few other things. Again, if you are struggling with the recoil control, hatched grip is going to be a very good option here. It's going to make you a little bit slower with the gun, but it's going to make it a lot easier to use. We'll put on the taped grip for the purpose of the video, but like we said, hatched grip is also going to be a very good option there. In the perk 1 slot, again, we haven't got loads to choose from. We'll go for momentum for move speed after kills, and then perk 2, it either whether it comes down to quick or fully loaded. Like we've been saying all along, quick is going to be best for the meta. And there we go, guys. Those are the top 5 submachine guns to be using in Warzone at this moment in time. If you found this video helpful, guys, let me know by dropping a like on it down below. We are on the road to 1,000 subscribers, so big love to anyone who leaves a like or a comment on the video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for staying tuned to the video. As always, feel free to subscribe to the channel for all of the latest Call of Duty news, tips and tricks, how-tos, class setups, and much more.